going on, guys? It's Ricky from Volnay Capital. We are here for another Volnay Live. Extremely excited for tonight's guest. We have Mysah Bolen. She is an Instagram inspiration. She runs a page that everyone needs to check out. It's Remington Ave. Awesome page. Great follow if you want inspiration on interior design decisions, renovation decisions, simple stuff that anyone can do. So we love her page and really excited to talk to her tonight. But hopefully she joins in and we can get this started. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Doing
How's everything going?
So good, just had a lot of time at home actually to get projects done, like many of us, I'm sure. So yeah, it's been great.
We've been following along. I feel like you've got some great projects going on that people have been learning from.
I always have a million projects going on. Got the bigger ones and then like the day-to-day ones.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, as I said. So can you kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get started in this business? How did you end up building the Instagram page? Just so the people who don't know your page.
Yeah, so a little bit of background. I've always been into art since a little girl, and my degree is actually in fashion design, not interiors, although I do interior design now, and I take a few select clients, but mostly just do full-time blogging for interiors, DIY, and lifestyle. And I guess I essentially got into the blogging field from like doing projects around my house. The last home before this one, we designed and built the home that we're currently in. But the previous home we bought with the intention that I was going to do a bunch of projects and renovations ourselves and kind of flip that house. And it was a great experience. And anyway, so when we did that, that's when I started my Instagram page and just started sharing the projects and ideas.
Awesome. So I noticed on a lot of your stuff, you actually are handy. Right, so you actually do the work yourself, which I own a large development company where we build huge buildings, and I can barely use a hammer. So I think I'm a builder or developer in a sense, but I can't do anything. So how did you learn to do all the stuff that you do on your page, and is that something that you recommend people try to do themselves or hire experts? Like, what do you think?
So I guess I've always been a big believer, like if you want to do something, you'll figure out how to do it, right? And I feel like on Instagram, you either have kind of design accounts or you have DIY accounts or builder accounts. And I try to merge them together because I like to think that everyone with every budget can have a well-designed home. Sometimes that means you have to get a little down and dirty and do some of that work yourself. So, I mean, I've just learned as I've gone, YouTube, other Instagrammers, trial and error, definitely trial and error. But it's more just like getting comfortable with power tools, just like you would be comfortable, cooking in the kitchen or anything new. It's all about just getting over that first little bump, little fear that you can't do it. And then like, once you start it, you've opened the door, right?
Right. So if someone, for the people that are following along that are thinking, well, where do I even start? Right. So where should someone start in their home? If they have an older home they just purchased, like what type of projects would you recommend that they start with?
The number one easiest, I feel like DIY is paint. It's the most bang for buck. Everyone can do it. Sure, you might mess up a little bit here and there, but that's literally with every project you take on. But I think painting walls, you can paint cabinets. I think that's like the first step. And then I would say the first tool would be to get a drill so that you can hang up hooks and pictures and, things on your wall.
Yeah. So right now, when the stuff you're blogging about, is it more DIY stuff or more design stuff? And which do you prefer? Which is your favorite?
So both. It's totally a mix. And I try in my design to kind of share tutorials on how to even like break down design concepts and how to actually do it in your own home, because not all of us are art-minded, design-minded, and our brains just don't think that way. So if we have kind of like a step-by-step, maybe we can take on some of those other projects.
Yeah, I think one of the questions over the past couple months of doing these we continue to get is someone says, how do I first decide the direction of the design of
Yeah,
my house?" Right?
it's hard.
We've gotten that with other designers. People keep. So how do they do that? Where do they make that first decision? Like they bought the house. Now, which direction do I go?
Now what, right? Well, we definitely live in a world of influence, right? From Pinterest to Instagram, and there's all kinds of trends out there. But I try to, like, what I recommend to my clients and just when I'm talking to family is finding like your own personal style. And sometimes the best way to do that is to look at your closet and see what you wear, what colors you're drawn to, what textures you're drawn to. And I feel like if you have no concept of like what your interior design style is, a lot of times it's influenced by clothes that you're selecting.
Yeah. Awesome. So are you actually in your home right now? Are you able to give us a quick kitchen tour and so people can
Sure.
check it out?
Yeah. So this home, we're coming up on 2 years. We moved in here, and there's been a lot of projects and DIYs as we've gone along. But let me flip this camera around. Actually, this is my first time doing this, so I'm trying to figure out how to turn the camera around.
I think if you double tap.
Double tap. Oh yeah. See, there we go. Okay. So this is my kitchen, and I like to call my home kind of like a French country modern.
Nice.
So it is a white kitchen. This is probably one of the first kitchens you saw on Instagram that actually had black countertops instead of white marble on subway tile on white, right?
Yeah.
But I did a black marble on the countertops, and I incorporated that right into my farm sink. I didn't want the interruption of a white apron front sink. So we did a stone sink.
Is that made out of the countertop?
It sure is. Yeah, I have it fabricated right out of the marble.
Beautiful.
And I mix metals in here. I've got polished nickel and brass, a lot of brass in the fixtures, polished nickel in the bridge faucet. We took the windows all the way down to the countertop, which my builder was not super excited about whenever I was mentioning that. It's hard to get that lined up, but it's such a pretty view. And then we have that marble going along the backsplash as well. And then this brick, I came in about a year after we moved in and installed this. This was a DIY. I installed this brick all along the back wall here.
Is that just a veneer?
It is. It's a veneer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy how real a veneer brick can look.
Oh yeah, totally. So, and then it comes into a butler pantry over here, but I'll do a backup. So this is the other wall. So my appliances all have cabinet fronts, and then I did this like built-in kind of hutch area over here.
Beautiful. And then what about those drawers down there? What's that?
Yeah, so those are all false front. I wanted it to look like an old apothecary, kind of like vintage style piece. But if you go up close, they're actually drawers.
Wow.
So full
okay.
drawers. Or this one, the two sides are actually cabinets that have pullouts. So, yeah.
Wow, it's like a piece of art.
Hey, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that piece. That's actually one of my favorite pieces in this house.
Beautiful. And then for the island, you went with, what is that, quartz countertop?
I did. I went back and forth, but I have 3 small children and 1 on the way. And the maintenance of marble, I mean, there is maintenance for sure. So I didn't want that where my kids are eating constantly. I didn't want to worry about it. So we just went with a light quartz on the island. And then I recently this last summer, recovered these in a vinyl like snakeskin print. So super kid friendly, but still has that like nice high end feel.
Yeah. What do you have for the flooring throughout the house?
The flooring, the biggest question I always get. What is your wood flooring? It's Provenza, and it is an engineered wood, a white oak.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'll take you into the butler pantry over here. This is where I have my oven stack and microwave. And then today on stories, I actually just restyled these shelves. So I know that some of them are wanting to see how that turned out. So we just did a quick facelift on those. Yeah. And then we have an extra sink and a dishwasher over here. Kind of the idea of this area was really like my kids, as they go to school, they can turn the corner right here. This is where our actual pantry is. So got like a swing bistro door here. So they can make their lunches. They can pull out the cereal. They can do everything over here, put their dishes in the sink, put it in the dishwasher. And my kitchen doesn't look like a hurricane every single morning.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that was designed.
Awesome. I saw a couple questions come in for the maintenance on your marble. What's your process like with the maintenance on this marble, and what do you recommend for people who have even, standard Carrera marble?
So marble, so if you've noticed like all the styling, I have all of my oils and everything on separate cutting boards. So no oils or acids ever sit on my marble. I do the majority of my cutting over here on the quartz, and I actually have these like built-in butcher blocks where I chop. So the marble, we have some etching on ours already, and it's just kind of like one of those things that you can't really get past when you're dealing with a natural stone like that. So I just do my best really just to keep the oils and vinegars and acids away from there, and then just wipe it down with Dawn dish soap, honestly, is how I clean it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, right? If you're someone who's going to freak out about something happening, just don't install marble.
100%.
If you can live with the imperfections and the stuff that happens and let it age and let it be memories, then it's cool.
Totally.
But if it's not, go with quartz.
100%. Yep, I agree.
What about the light fixtures? Where do you recommend people get their light fixtures, and what goes into deciding? I see you went with three pendants there. I feel like it's a big debate we always get is how do I decide between 2, 3, or 4 and the size, and how'd that decision come about?
I went back and forth. I had to commit because we did this tongue and groove ceiling. So it was like once they were cut, that's it, right? Mm-hmm. So I went back and forth. I did the 3. I sort of, after living in this home, wish I would have done the 2, to be honest with you, just to flank the hood. But I didn't go with something super oversized because I still wanted to see that nice like hood and the details behind there.
Yeah,
and it's a 10-foot island too, so it's big.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of the going with the 2 or the 4. I'm never the 3, but I think in this space it works really well.
Thank you.
What do you recommend for people when their height of their pendant off of their island? Because obviously there's a lot of different opinions on how high you should go with it.
I know. Okay, so the answer to this is kind of like the same question, like how high do I put my wainscoting, right? It's all just scale to me. How high are your ceilings? What are your counter heights? And honestly, it's all scale and proportion. So for every house, it's a little different for me, to be honest.
Yeah. We got a question that came in from Laura Must Travel. She asked, where do you get your poles, and where do you recommend other people shop for kitchen hardware? Yeah,
so most of my kitchen hardware, actually for my whole house, I did a lot of Amarok quality. Like these are gilded bronze, so these ones are like 18 inches, super sturdy for the appliance poles. And I actually did this one throughout my whole house. I really, really like that brand. And I also like M-Tech. I like M-Tech more for door hardware than I do for cabinet hardware. But I really like Amarok for cabinet hardware.
With you mentioned that you mix the metals and we can see throughout the design. So when someone's deciding on mixing metals, what do you recommend that they think about? What are the factors that they should consider? Because it's the new trend. Everyone's talking about it, and I feel like everyone's continually trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So and I get this question all the time, how do I mix metals? Mostly you're looking at tones of warm and cool, right? Just like you look at color, when you're doing like two colors in a room, you're balancing those two colors. Metals are really the same. You're balancing two different colors in a space. So if you're going to do, for example, like a polished nickel here, you'll notice that that picks up on my stainless steel range over here, and then it's also repeated in the butler pantry. So if you're mixing metals, I feel like you have to repeat at least 3 times in a space, each of them, so that you get that balance. And that's kind of like a beginner rule that I always tell people.
Yeah, no, for sure. We got another question that came in from Angela Compernelli. Are your upper cabinets inset and the base cabinets overlay? And if so, why the choice to mix it up?
No, they're all the same. So I just have it's basically a shaker with a bevel. This is the same cabinet I use throughout my entire home, actually. And if you look at the uppers, it's the same. And then I just have a metal mesh, actually. We did
the base cabinets too.
Yeah, everywhere.
So yeah, all inset.
Yep. It's hard to tell from photos, you know, what's what for people, but you can get the detail on those.
Let's see those cutting board, the butcher blocks. Is that a custom thing that had to be done by, you know, is this all custom built, the cabinetry?
Yeah, this entire kitchen is custom. Cause I have like white oak inlays, in certain places. And then, yeah, I did this specifically because we have the marble. So I have one that I use like for veggies, and then one that I have for baking on the bottom. So those just pull out, and I use those all the time.
Just got a question from Empty asking, is there any design decisions that you made in here that you wish you'd done differently?
Always. If you ever build a house, you will always have that issue. After you live in it, you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this, right? You try to get it perfect, and then there's inevitably there's, you know, like a few things you wish you would have done. Like I said, in the kitchen, I think I wish I would have done 2 pendants versus 3. But not a lot else in my kitchen would I have changed, to be honest with you. I really like kind of the movement and the mixture of warmth and cool tones. When I installed this brick backsplash, people were like, wait, what? Because it was very high contrast black and white. And then I started integrating like that same tone from the wood to the floor to the counter stools and to the backsplash. Yeah,
beautiful. Awesome. So well, let's pivot, and guys, keep sending in your questions. You can send them in the comments, or you can send them in the questions option, but we're going to play a little game that we like to play, and it's called This or That. And so we're going to give you 2 different items, and you're going to let us know which one that you prefer.
Okay.
So wallpaper, walls, or a ceiling?
Oh, see, now if you're a follower of mine, you know I have it on my daughter's ceiling. So, tie? Totally depends on the space. Can I do that?
Let's talk about using wallpaper or paint on ceilings, because I think it's a really popular thing that you're starting to see more and more, the 5th wall, right? How does someone decide on what wallpaper or what paint, and what's the right room for it?
So I like to pull in wallpaper or a painted ceiling on a ceiling that has some kind of architectural interest. So a cove ceiling, a pitch ceiling, something that's got, you know, something special about it. I feel I would like to draw attention to that, because that's what you're doing. If you're painting a ceiling or you're putting wallpaper up there, that's where people are looking.
Yeah, nice. This one should be a simple one for you. Exposed brick or reclaimed wood?
Yeah, definitely exposed brick for me. I'm a brick fan. Painted, exposed, however I can get it, I want it all.
let's talk about painted brick. So if someone's got red old chimney in their house and red brick and it just doesn't fit, what's the best process to go with painting that brick? And, how do you recommend doing that?
So there's like different options. You can do a wash brick, you can do a German schmear if you want a little bit of that to come through and just create texture, or just a standard like masonry paint. That's what we did on my whole exterior. I have an entirely painted white brick exterior, and it's a certain kind of paint that you have to use.
Cool. So it's something that someone can do on their own if they wanted to dig in.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, next one up. This is kitchen. All white or mixed in some color?
Always mixing style, always mixing color for me.
So what colors are you seeing in cabinets now? Obviously your kitchen's all white, but what are you recommending through your blog or seeing other people doing? What trends do you really like right now with kitchen cabinet colors?
I like the black. There's like some deep greens that are being used right now, which are fun. Honestly, it depends on my client, their personality, and their needs for their family. I think every trend should be considered, but it also should be like, heavily balanced with your lifestyle and like what truly speaks to you.
Yeah. So we're going to talk fixtures, gold or matte black?
Ooh, I like them both too. Totally depends on the design style. I guess if I had to choose, I would choose gold.
Gold. Is it trendy?
Yeah, but it's also classic, like every other finish.
It's been around forever, yeah. It comes and goes. Designing an interior or designing an exterior?
An interior for me.
Dark colors or light colors?
I think you have to have both to get the balance.
All right, this is more just a general question. What's your favorite room to design?
My favorite room. I don't know. I really like doing kitchen design. I also really like doing home offices, which is kind of like studies, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I like it all. I'm a little ADD design, right? Like I like it all.
Let's talk about home offices because I feel like it's something that is always an afterthought. You see so many people's houses where the office is just a random desk that's set in a space, and you're like, that's the office room, right? It's like a bedroom that they just plopped a desk in the middle. So what are simple ways when someone's doing an office over to make it feel like it was thought out without blowing the budget?
Well, one, I think you need to consider, do I use an office? How will I use an office? Who will be using the office? And how much I'm going to be in there? Like my office, I'm in there every day. It's actually one of the most used spaces in my home. So there was a lot of thought that went in there. But if you're like somebody who just really stacks your bills on your desk, an office may not be for you. You might need just like an organizational cupboard.
Are you?
Oh yeah, I see. Like that. I didn't even see it, but there you go.
I do have mahogany custom
that nice herringbone is
herringbone
that.
the custom mahogany herringbone desktop that we built that I cover in 1,000 bills.
You've decorated it nicely.
Yeah. It is pretty sad that I have this beautiful countertop and I just cover it in all my junk.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to, but we got a couple people asking to see the office. If you do want to show your office,
sure.
You want to check that out?
Yeah, let's go.
And guys, keep sending in your questions once you check out. Let's check out anything else throughout the house you want to show, and then keep sending in questions, guys. We'll get to them after the final walkthrough.
All right. So if you notice, my whole entryway is white. We went with a high contrast right off the entryway into a deep office. And actually, my husband and I both use this space, so it is shared. So I was just basically trying to balance kind of like this chic feminine feel with a rich like masculine feel. And I think I accomplished that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's stunning. I think it's just dark enough to give it that more of a masculine feel, but it also doesn't feel overwhelming. What I got a couple people asking what the color is that they love the color.
Yeah, so this color is Cheating Heart by Benjamin Moore, and it is the same color I've used on all my interior doors. So it is a charcoal, like a rich charcoal with blue undertones.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
depending on your lighting, it can kind of be a chameleon. So it's one of those you really got to test out before you use.
I can see you love doing the detailing on all your walls. I saw it in your entryway and here. Is
Yeah.
that a really nice DIY project thing that you incorporate?
So when I had the house built, I actually I designed all the molding layouts and everything in my entryway. I did not DIY this, but there's several spaces in my home since we moved in that I have DIY'd molding. In fact, one of the projects I'm getting ready to do is our nursery. We're expecting number 4, and I'm definitely going to be
Little
doing,
girl, little girl.
yeah, another little girl. So
Congratulations.
yeah, so definitely be installing some DIY molding in there.
Great. So let's see. We got a couple more questions. Everybody, keep sending in these questions. If you have anything else, we'll try to get to anything that's been asked. So we got this one you kind of answered, but this is from Bella Bruni. Might have missed the beginning of this. Can I mix polished nickel with brushed nickel in a hardware and fixtures?
You can. It's essentially the same tone, but you're looking at different textures. So again, I think you just need to make sure that you're repeating both of those throughout the space.
Great. What is the color white in the entryway?
Color white throughout my entire home is Simply White by Benjamin Moore. So it has a creamy undertone. It is not a stark white. And I actually, and this is a question I get all the time, all of my base, trim, ceilings, everything is actually the same color, all the same white. I just pulled different sheens. So we've got like an eggshell on the wall. On all of the molding is a semi-gloss, and then on my tongue and groove ceiling, same semi-gloss.
Beautiful. And then got a couple more questions here. So do master bath and bedrooms need to have the same hardware fixtures?
Hardware fixtures, like meaning light fixtures and knobs, or what are you asking?
I guess, yeah. So I don't know if Dinarafi wants to clarify, but here's one question that we've seen before is this is in a master bath or in a bathroom, if someone's going with a chrome fixtures throughout the bathroom, should the door handle on the inside of it also be chrome if you don't have chrome throughout the house?
No.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Usually with door hardware, I'm doing the same door hardware throughout the entire home, unless it's a very special place where you're wanting to make a statement and do some crazy cool knob. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't overthink it.
Great. All right. Well, I think that was all the questions. If any other questions that anyone's following along? If you had to choose, would you do an alcove stove or cabinets to the ceiling when money is the issue?
An alcove stove or cabinets to the ceiling?
Right. So doing built-ins on each side of a stove or doing cabinets to the ceiling?
I would say cabinets to the ceiling personally. I feel like that really just elevates the kitchen no matter what.
Yeah. We got MCB asks, what are your thoughts on a black island with a black countertop?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Doesn't have to be black and white. You just need to balance it. So black is a huge grounding color. So if you were going to use it, you have to know how to balance it elsewhere. Does that make sense? So like in my kitchen, I have these black countertops, but it's balanced all the way through this shared space because the living room is connected. I've got black windows. I have a black lamp. I've got black cannons in my fireplace, black frames. So like you have, it carries a lot of weight, a lot of gravity.
Yeah. Rose Bernard asks, what are the most important things to remodel in a master bathroom?
I would say having a nice vanity, pumping up the height of your vanity so it feels a little more custom, and the countertops.
Ala Seskim asks, why quartz over quartzite?
Well, it's less expensive. Quartzite is typically more expensive, so budget is a factor. And then again, when you're dealing with a natural stone, there's always more maintenance. So I wanted low maintenance, good looking for my island with lots of kids that do everything there.
Chandler 213, what kind of lights are over your kitchen sink?
Those are bent arm sconces. So you can shape them in different ways. They've got a couple joints. So there's actually a joint right above the glass cage. There's a joint right where it's bent, and then also right against the wall. So that, like, you can stick them straight out. You can stick them straight down. I mean, there's several ways you can style those.
Great. Curla Kale asks, do you need to put a kitchen mat or rug in front of your stove and sink? No, you don't. But I like to have a little bit of cushion because I cook a lot. So something to stand on that's not hardwood. If I am barefoot on hardwood all day, I pay for it. So I like to have something there. And actually, this is a washable rug. And I'm like basically exclusively use washable runners in my kitchen because, you know, you're cooking and you're getting food on there, and I can just throw that whole thing in the washer and it's good as new. We got a couple more here. Flygirl3054, what's your favorite lighting place or place to buy lights? Looks like we lost service. Hopefully this comes back. Looks like we lost.
Exterior brick white. Well, I would say I'm a big advocate since my entire house is painted white brick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming back in now.
Okay. My exterior house color is a custom color. If you go to my blog in the search bar and just search painted brick, there's a formula right on there for you.
Great. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, so what's the best way to find your blog? And you know, what else, is there anything else you want to, you know, tell people before we finish up?
Yeah, so like paint colors and wood sources and countertops, all of this stuff is always on my blog. I do my best to keep all of that information up to date. So if you ever want to know anything about my house, you can go to my blog under shop and source pages, and that will take you either to like full room tours or actually just have everything linked and itemized for you.
Awesome. So everybody, you know, what we'll do is we'll get a couple photos of a lot of the stuff we talked about. I'm sure you've got some stuff we can share. So we'll do our next post on the kitchen page, and we'll get a photo of the exterior of the house, the office, and then we'll link some of the stuff that we've talked about so that everyone can take a look. We also, we edit these and we put them up on our YouTube. So anyone who missed this and wants to come back and check it out, we'll always share, you know, in the next couple of days, we'll get this posted. But, you know, thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.